Hello, warm welcome back to the channel of Motorbike Nonsense. This is the new Honda Transalp for 2023. The XL750, something like that. But anyway, this is my first ride on it. I've literally ridden it about 2 miles, and I've got to go and get my kids from nursery in about half an hour. So how much trouble can we get into in half an hour on Honda's new middleweight adventure bike? It's $9.5 grand, $2 grand more than the Hornet on which it's based. Let's go and have some fun. Alright, let's hop it down this curb. Yeah, 21-inch front wheel, baby. No quick shifter. So yes, this, if you've been living under a Honda rock, or a rock that shields you from Honda news, this is a 755cc adventure bike with a 21-inch front wheel, about 90 horsepower, and it uses the same parallel twin as the latest Honda Hornet, which is a bike I really like. So obviously this has got more weather protection, it's heavier, it is more upright, more comfortable, more suited to long distance cruising, or potentially a little bit of light off-roading. That's where we're going right now, to one of my favourite green lanes, where I've taken a few bikes. I own a KTM 1290 Super French RS with a 19-inch front wheel, and there's part of this trail that scares me because it's all sand. I'm going to see how this copes, and if I fall off and break my leg, then I've got an embarrassing phone call to make to my daughter's nursery and say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't come pick the kids up. I've got a beaver up my bum and I've impaled my lungs on a fence post. So hopefully that doesn't happen, we'll be okay. We're going to be exploring one of the rider modes, the gravel rider mode, and generally talking about life on the Transalp. My first impressions are it's a super comfortable bike. Like the Hornet was, really, but even more so. It's got a nice cushy seat, but it is the kind of bench sort that could give you a sore arse after a couple of hours, but we'll have to test that out, and I'll be doing a full review in a couple of weeks time, so subscribe and stay tuned for that. This is literally just the first bit of knobbing about on the Honda Transalp. Yeah, it's got a very familiar throaty growl from that 270-degree crank inline twin, well, parallel twin, isn't it? Inline twin. And yeah, it just feels very easy to ride. It's not too tall, it's not intimidating, and also I can't remember the actual weight, but it feels very light when you pick it up off its side stand and move it about. So it is very much kind of a my first adventure bike, in the sense that the Hornet was my first naked bike, but that didn't make the Hornet boring for more experienced lags like me. It was very entertaining, and I kind of already feel like this is going to do the same thing for flat-barred adventure bikes. Oh, that engine. Yeah, it can get you into trouble still. It can get you into trouble. Now, the brakes are different on this to the Hornet. I believe I've got 2-piston sliding calipers on this, or axially mounted calipers rather than radial mounted calipers, and they don't feel as grabby and bitey as they do on the Hornet. They definitely feel a little bit softer, but you know, on a bike like this, I'd say that's perfectly acceptable, especially if you're going to head off road. You don't want a front brake that's sharper than a shark in a tuxedo. You don't really want that. So yeah, but softness is good sometimes. Try telling that to, yeah, etc, etc. Anyway, round the corners, it doesn't really feel like it's got a 21-inch front wheel. That's a bit of a cliche these days, but honestly, bikes with these big wheels don't feel a huge amount different to those with 19s. And yes, you will notice the difference on the limit, but in pootling like I'm doing at the moment, it's just nothing in it really. It really just boils down to a slightly more restricted tyre choice at your favourite rubber emporium. I don't have one. A 20 limit? God, things have changed around here. Probably means I don't get killed by mini countrymen with weird pink daytime running lights. What is that? Sort that out. That is not standard. This is a beautiful part of the world. I'm heading to a place called Cold Harbour, which is near where I live in Surrey, and there's a little green lane, as I said, that takes me to one of my favourite pubs, but I don't have time to go to the pub because I've got children and my life is ruined. Close to four-wheeled motor vehicles and horse-drawn carriages, I think I'm fine. I'm not a horse, though I am being drawn by some Japanese horses. Stick in gravel mode, that softens the power right up and gives me, well, no rear ABS, or very limited rear ABS. Now, this doesn't have a 6-axis IMU, it's just done by wheel speed sensors to traction control. I mean, this feels like I'm on a road, to be honest. I'm not on particularly knobbly tyres, it's just whatever standard tyres are on it, and being a good journalist, I've completely neglected to have a look at those. But yeah, standing up, Feels reasonably comfortable. I'd rather sit down for this bit though, so it's a little bit slippery. So let's just leave it a second and lug my way through. Can weight the peg. I would say it's a bit of a reach, the bars. I'm 6'3", so standing up, yeah, I can't really purchase on the tank, and the bars feel a little bit far away, which might lead to some whiskey throttle, but we'll see how we get on. Oh dear. Oh shit, I forgot I'm not wearing waterproofs. Oh well, we'll be fine. But yeah, so far it feels very soft and compliant through the pegs, and it feels like a friendly 21-inch companion. Bit of horse shit there, lovely. Sorry, I'm going to have to jet wash this. The back brake, yeah, I got decent feel through the back brake. I'm just finding it hard to grip onto the tank with my knees. Right, it gets sandy down here, so I'm probably going to pussy out and sit down. I've not ridden off-road in about 10 months, so I'm not probably best suited to give it full standing up berries down here, but this is what this bike is for, really. Getting people who have learnt to ride motorbikes out, exploring the wilds. And as I usually say when I come down here, some of The Witcher was filmed in these forests. I don't know what bits, probably something where Ciri looks beautiful and Henry Cavill says, I quit, I want to do something else. But yeah, right, here we go, sandy majonkers. Do I drop it? Let's keep it in second, let's slow it down, and let's just try and keep it balanced. Well, it feels good so far, As I said, I'm not, definitely not a Chris Northover last word on off-roading, but this feels pretty damn approachable. Now this is the sandy bit. I keep some momentum up. Oh, it doesn't look as sad as it used to be. It's been raining a lot. There's a nice house there. How do you drive to a house? And there's an actual horse there. Let's pull the clutch in. Thank you. She looked like she hated me. Right, well that was easy. Yeah, again, that front brake nice and soft for my purposes right now. Do I ride here? Yes I do. Through the slippery horse poo. Right, so yeah, initial impressions of the Transalp are it's turned quite an easy green lane into something even easier, which is what I'm about really. I'm about approachability and getting bikes that make you want to go and explore, and this already kind of feels up there with the Aprilia Touareg, possibly a bit less off-road focused. I think this has probably got a bit more road bias in its choice of suspension and tyres and just general rugged outlook on life, but so what? Feels good. I've got a wet leg, not like the cool band. Right, there you go, you can look at my nostrils now, much better. This is the main reason I don't do more off-roading, because you just see my snot and nose hairs all the time. Look at me, basically a Dakar hero from wish.com. I'm going to go and jump on the road again, and we'll have a little sum up of my first ride on the Transalp, if I make it back in one piece without crashing. Someone's been doing donuts there, naughty. So that's a bit boring to watch. I quite enjoyed it, it's very therapeutic, it cleared my head. But now yeah, we're on the road, and yeah, this just feels like a classic modern Honda really. It handles really sweetly on the road. It's got as much of everything as it really needs in terms of power and brakes. That's my initial impression anyway. Obviously I'm going to give it some more miles. That's pink mini headlight person from earlier. That's weird. And yeah, it just feels like a sweet motorbike, to be honest. 9.5 grand. This feels like good value, and as I'll talk about my full review, there are a ton of options that Honda will offer to sell you for this, such as crash bars and panniers and wind deflectors and things like that. So that will all be coming in a couple of weeks, my full review of this. And I just need to go and clean it a little bit now so it doesn't rust. Oh, and throughout this video you might have noticed there is a check engine light on. That is just because this bike had a slightly flat battery the other day, well, a completely flat battery, and I've charged it back up, and I think the ignition cycles that I did when I found out the battery was flat has thrown that light. So that will either go away, I guess, or you can get it cleared. I presume it will go away after a couple of ignition cycles. It's not a problem with the bike, it's running fine. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I hope you've had a lovely day. I hope you weren't too put off by my lame attempts at off-roading. Goodbye, thank you for watching, and I think I still have plenty of time to go and pick my children up. Excellent. Daddy did not get speared by a log in the woods. Sometimes he wonders if that's actually going to be better, but whatever. I'm looking after children. Bye!